Champion in '84, Brian Duncan has never failed to qualify for the Bassmasters, and that's a remarkable feat in itself. Champion again 2 years ago, and the perennial favourite for the game's most prestigious tournament has once again reached the last four. Welcome to the final session on the final day of the Bassmasters 92. Once again, almost inevitably, Brian Duncan is the man to beat. Allan Thompson will be the first to try, semi-final from the top half of the draw. But first, it's Tommy Johnstone against Froth. Quite beautifully this week, commentary by Brian Brett and Hugh Johns.
11-12. For Stan, that extra determination, I imagine this the third semi-final that he's been in 2, 4, 5, 6 appearances in the Bassmasters. Lost to Martin Gilpin in '89, lost to John Bancroft last year. Tommy Johnstone, one semi-final only, beat Brian Patmore and then went on to lose to Chris MacDonald in the final of 1987.
You're about 4 feet.
His concern again is the short bowl, which is lying on, but he's got to find a way around it.
He's there on a length. Well, it's a pole and a half short of a length. Tommy, he's got a chance here. I'd say that was the winner. I would have said that's the winner.
Looks a better length. Got it.
Now, Tommy. No big breaks in this match so far, Brian. It's
no, it's
very, very close, isn't it?
It is close, and it's a very tactical game, isn't it? Tommy is now able to get up to the scoreboard corner, and if he wins this, he's back on his track.
Stan, finger pegging, bias towards the crown. Just far enough to win it. Hits his own bowl. Doesn't need to. Wins it without it. What's he got? What's he got? Oh! A touch of the knees.
Johnston, 1.
So Johnstone not only nudges 3 chalks in front, but, as you said, Brian, he's back on
yes,
territory that he wants to exploit and has exploited in this tournament so well so far.
Now then, he comes back this way, thumb peg. Hopes to get over the crowns and into a little channel that he's exploited so very, very well.
Not quite far enough, but that is a pretty useful lead bowl at that distance.
I suspect there's some varying pace now, Hugh. It's not rained for a little while. It is humid, but I think in some areas it's drying out and others it's holding.
That's going to be far enough. It's in. It's in.
2-4 behind.
Chances. Just about won it. Stan can afford to bowl up and hopefully rest on that blue bowl. An inch to the right, and he'd have had two. As it is, Tommy Johnston's got one. Tommy knows how close he came then to dropping two shots.
Yes, he goes back finger peg from the public house up to the far scoreboard.
(15-11). Tommy's lead. That bowl glides and runs and stops with a little tickle on the target. Bullseye. Hard for Tommy now, I think, to think in terms of getting two out of this.
Oh, that looks a bit dangerous to me, doesn't it? Stick one in the way. He's going up, you know. What's he doing? Oh!
Well, would you believe it? He's there. Well, that's a target. Stan will go and inspect it, but surely he's got to have a bang at that.
I don't know, I suppose if he plays the same hand, the finger peg, he might just work off his own bowl. He's got to disturb it, hasn't he? There's no room. If he tries the other hand, he doesn't know it. He's going to strike.
Stand by your beds. Stan comes with some weight. Tommy retires to the middle of the green. And Stan. He's got it. Now.
He's unlucky.
He's unlucky. He's dead unlucky. The two yellows gone, the two blues stay. It was something that had to be done, though, Brian.
Well, yes, and he was firing on all cylinders, and he hit virtually everything in sight, but what an unlucky end for him. He finds himself another two down.
Having said how unlucky Stan was, in that same breath, you've got to say how brilliantly Tommy Johnston delivered two bowls there of sheer perfection. And it was a long way. Tommy's on the track again.
I think the gloves are off, Hugh. The cat and mouse is finished. It's Tommy going for game on his track, and really Stan has got to lift his game. Look at this. Look at this, trying.
a stop. Stan's won the end back again. Two. Oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute.
He might have just given this a bit of a shunt towards Stan the man. What has he done here? He may just have the one. Stan the man may just get away with it.
Tommy says mine.
Don't blame him.
My blue one is there.
Let's have a measure.
And what does Stan say?
It's accepted it.
One it is.
But where does he go now, Hugh? Is he going to try the mark he played against Karen Johnston? 28 yards, falling mark. Keep the jack on. Yes, thumb peg, nice, typical Stan Frith speciality.
Looks tidy. This little corner has been drying pretty well this morning. Keith Hornbury, the greenkeeper, has done a marvellous job here insofar as drainage is concerned. Certainly been no signs of water hanging about on this green, even through the torrential rain we had. Johnson's bowl holds up nicely behind the block. Oh, that isn't going to stay. That's gone. That's two. That's two beauties. Well, every time Stan Frith springs a leak in Tommy Johnston's armoury, the plumber puts his finger in the dike and he's back in business again.
Well, instead of going for the far corner, he's prepared to gamble. He has a cushion of 7 chalks, so he's prepared to go for a short mark. Look at that lead.
Yeah, it's almost as though he's saying, who said Stan was the best short curly mark man? Finger peg mark with the bias towards the ditch, so that the slope of the crown assists the bias of the bowl to come down from the top side, turn in a big, wide, swinging arc. Look at that.
Just wondering whether he might turn over here, try a running bowl. He has the back one. He's got to count and save. Thinking about turning over.
He's turned it over. Thumb peg. A straight bowl. Needs a connection. Got the connection, but left one in there.
Johnstone, one.
So, Tommy now, just 1 point short of another crack at the final, the Bassmasters. Got there in 1987. And lost out to Chris MacDonald. Just needs one more to have a second crack at the big prize, the £7,500 massive prize to the winner of the Bassmasters. Stan, a mountain to climb. 9 chalked behind.
Great chance here, unlucky.
It's looking, yes, the blue bowl is holding at the moment. Now, will he drop this one a little bit short and leave it in the road. Yes, I don't think it's not quite in the position that he wanted it.
He's not happy, Hugh. Does nothing at all, that.
Stan aiming for the shot goal. It's gone out. It's not there. Tommy Johnstone takes out Stan the man. And we have a 21-12 victory for Tommy Johnstone over Stan Froth. Brilliant stuff from Tommy. He's in the final. And there it is. Confirmation, 21-12, Tommy Johnstone. Now we're going to leave you for a short while. When you come back, more action from the Woodlands Hotel and the Bassmasters.
Welcome back. Tommy Johnstone through to the final then, where he'll meet either Yorkshire's Allan Thompson or Lancashire's Brian Duncan, the game's #1, aiming for a hat-trick of victories in the Bassmasters. Commentary is by Roy Armson and Brian Brett.
Duncan from Preston. Thompson, Murfield, West Yorkshire. And Duncan looking for the other diagonal and absolutely condemns that delivery. He doesn't like that. That belongs to somebody else, he says.
Yes, he can't believe what happened to that ball. I think he followed the jack, but it just went underneath. And that is the feature of this mark. You must not be below the jack. You're better just a little bit on top.
The adjustment now called for from Duncan. Is he any better? He doesn't like it. Awful. Oh, even worse. What a chance now. 10-14 down. Allan Thompson. Almost a gift wrap too, courtesy of Brian Duncan. Yes, well, Roy, when did you last see Duncan bowl to like that?
Well, I think it's a Jekyll and Hyde game, isn't it? He's playing one brilliant ball and then he's playing two bad ones. And Allan Thompson, looking at that, must gain a lot of confidence, because if he can play anything like his game, he's going to put Brian under an awful lot of pressure that he's never been under before.
Well, I think you've got to go back about 10 ends, Roy, to find the last time any of them counted twice on successive ends. They're winning off each other's jacks. They're vastly experienced, but it's still quite an atmosphere out there. There's a good crowd, and there's a lot at stake. There's 7,500 for the winner. Maybe they just even these fellas getting a few butterflies.
There is a lot of tension, and I think it's because the difference in the prize money to these boys is tremendous. They're on £1,000 now,
yes.
And they're going right for the big money, and it's bound to tell on them. It's a lot of money for these lads to play for.
Look at this lead from Thompson. Look at that. Not bad, this yard. It's not bad. My goodness. Oof. Duncan. Long mark set by Thompson. Good lead by Thompson. Duncan trying very hard.
Go on, put another one there.
Thompson doesn't want to leave too much. Doesn't want a good baden. They give him a target, but he'd like to certainly stick another one in now.
Beautiful wood, that. I like it.
It's
beautiful.
In the way, is it? In the way. It's certainly short. What's he going to do? Play far enough?
Yes, he'll have a go at it. He's got the back bowl.
He's got a bit of running in the bowl, Roy. Sometimes that takes pegging out, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Do you want to take his own bowl out, Roy, does he?
Nearly.
Eh? Well, the end product, just the single. Excellent lead from Allan Thompson. Won the last two ends, won 3 of the last 4 ends. Very much in the game. 13-14 off the mat. He won't be shaken, this fellow. He was certainly stirred a little in his last game against Alan Broadhurst before it got out 21-20, but that was an indication of the nerve. And he's taken him on. He's thrown down the challenge all the way across the green. A mark maybe that Brian Duncan would have set for himself. Now then, Allan Thompson. Is the line right? Has he read it right? Has he delivered it right? Go on, go on. Oh, what a good lead. Duncan doesn't hang around. The bowl is on his way. Duncan's after it. Has he got the legs? Don't like it. Roy, is he rocking? What's happening?
Just looking at Brian's face as he's walking back there, I can recognise the seeds of self-doubt in his mind.
And annoyance.
He's got to pull himself together.
He's angry with himself. Stick another in. That's the best thing they shout. He has done. He holds 2. He can take the lead. If Duncan can't change this, the 22nd end of a quite riveting game. Now then, Brian. Aye, aye, they shout. The referee changes his markers from yellow to blue. Brilliant. What an excellent reply. Well, Brian Duncan with the jack, 15. Allan Thompson, 13. And I swear the referee, Terry Ashcroft, had the yellow disc waiting to show until that bowl from Brian Duncan crept in.
And look at this now. He's changed the shape of the game. He's gone much shorter. I think he thinks that the margin for error is less on the shorter marks, and he's bang on it.
There's a lesson there for bowlers, isn't there, Roy? If you're not doing it, if you're being a little bit outplayed on the longer lengths, even though that's your game, then you change.
Certainly.
To somewhere you're happy.
Yeah.
Now then, he's not unhappy with this. Hey, is it his day or not? Every time Duncan puts one up, Thompson is back with a better one. Now then, Thompson waits anxiously as this bowl just bends, but not enough from Duncan. Thompson holding 1 right on the jack. Looking for 2. He'll take no chances, no risks. Hoping he can just roll a little bit further. Maybe not enough. Just the 1, the yellow. Allan Thompson. Bowling well, keeping his nerve. Quite unmoved by Duncan's reputation. 14-15. Off the mat. Allan Thompson. Well, he's impressed us. The quiet man of bowls. He picks his way around this green. His opponents know all about it. His first appearance in the Bass, he lost to Michael Leach, 21-11. But we remember him, what he's done this time. John Howard, that was a good win against the former policeman, first round. And then into his stride against Robert Hitchin. His pairs partner did him no favours, did he? Sent him home. And Alan Broadhurst, that was a cracking game. 21-20. Everything figured out against the accountant. Now then, he's got this figured out. He's right on it. Good bowl. Duncan is under pressure. The questions are being asked, and they're being asked by Allan Thompson. Full of danger. Thompson. Extreme care. Can't run with too much weight and disturb anything, or else, well, he may have counted 2. He may have swapped 1 for 1. 2, yes. Now then, Duncan looks at it, weighs it up. Is he going to strike? He is going to strike. The signal, they must signal. Everybody out of the way. Here it comes. Any connections? The buyer's taking it away? Yes. Oh, leaves 2. Well, Roy, Allan Thompson bowling now out of his skin, isn't it?
Oh yes, and this was a very brave bowl, because any contact on the jack he could have given it away, but here he is now coming up to the end, hits his own bowl, shunts it just across the back of the jack and stays in position for 2. A really brilliant bowl.
Now then, are we on course for a bit of an upset here? 16-15, the tournament, the hot tournament favourite, the former double winner of the Bass, under pressure, as he has been now for 5 or 6 ends, because Allan Thompson just will not let go. Now then, he can't afford to lead badly, and maybe in the Duncan book that is not a good enough lead. Now Duncan has to get a grip on himself because he's angry with himself. That has got to bend with the peg, done nothing, straightened. Thompson still on. Thompson again, run on, they say. He's left it. Run, 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 they say. Roy, not a lot to beat, but it's getting a bit nervy.
Yes, it's just delivering the balls out of a dip now. And Brian's put some more in this. Just got to pass the short ball, and I think he'll win it.
Well, he may, but then again, he may get a connection and promote. He's not done it, you know. It's certainly 1 to yellow. Duncan, the tension there.
Thompson.
Another single, Allan Thompson. 3 successive winning ends. From 15-13 down to 17-15 ahead. Duncan not happy, determined, angry. He's got to turn all that into precision play.
And Allan Thompson going finger peg again, his favourite hand, playing about 38 yards, finger peg up to the north stand. It's gone a good way past here.
Travelling, good chance for Duncan to get back. This is line right. It looks okay. It's working now. Oh well, he just about wins it. The way Thompson has been playing, you have a feeling he's going to improve on it. Duncan, the man with the greater knowledge of the green. Thompson, short. Duncan is on. What a chance. He trails 15-17. He certainly holds one. Now, can the master get back? It's just his length now. It's just his length. Well, pulled up, done enough. Yes, he's back. 17 across, and we're into the 27th. And you pick a winner here, Roy?
Uncharacteristically there, Brian took quite a lot of time deliberating where to go with this jack, but it's anybody's game. Finger peg, just below the crown, playing about 35 yards.
But he's playing different territory. He has been forced away from his favourite length, his favourite mark. But it'll be a sign of the master if he can read it. Not bad. Pushed wider by Thompson. May have a slightly keener bow, but he's short. Can't get there. Can't get there. Duncan's lead bow still on. Lovely stylus, just strokes it out. Similar road to Thompson's, but better length. Likes this, likes this. Holds 2. Beatable. Wanted it to turn over. Thompson on the way. More running in this bowl. More running in this bowl. Maybe too much in it. He's bending now, he's trying. Oh, just run out.
Duncan.
2 more. Duncan. Oh. 2 twos. And he's looking around this. Look at the eyes. Look at the tension. He's gritting his teeth. Hey, Roy, where's he going?
This is where Duncan usually puts all the pressure in the world on. If ever he wants a lead, he'll want it now. And I think he'll go up into the territory. No, he's changed.
He's not, Roy.
I thought he was going in the corner.
This is a difficult mark, isn't it?
Well, he's going where he's going to a position where he thinks he can play a good bowl. He's going thumb peg. Just over the second crown, about 28 yards.
Calls for a tremendous lead from Duncan, who pads after the bowl, stops, watches it, concerned. 19-17, he leads. He needs 2. Look at that lead. Masked the ball. Oh, dear me. Got to be disturbed. Pressure now swings. The pendulum swings against Thompson. unlucky, but it's on the road, Roy, now then. That's full of danger.
Yes, Brian will desperately want to go for 2, but Allan's bowl, as you rightly say, is in the way. He's going to have a look to see if he can get past that ball or play the other peg, to see how much room he's got, ideally to count 2.
Well, he may as well. Are they talking about him trying the other peg? It is dicey, that's the word. And we don't want one final throw of the dice to go against him. Well, nobody does.
I think if Brian thinks he can't get a second bowl, he might very well play one short. Yes.
Yeah. You look at him, he's grinning at Thompson. What do I do now? You tell me. Do I turn over? Do I play the same hand? I've turned over. Turn over. But I might show you the way in. Now, I don't know that he can do it. It's getting up. It's trying up. He needs 2 for game. He holds a look, a brilliant bowl. What a brave bowl. Oh, he holds 2. He needs 2. 28th end, and Allan Thompson all of a sudden needs to stop the count. Just a running bowl. Thompson needs to stop it. He's got to make a connection. He's got to get the end product. Has the jack gone off? Yes, good ball. Oh. Oh, what a lovely shot, Roy. He's under pressure, but what a nice controlled strike.
Yes, a perfect shot. On the nearest ball, shunts it out, takes the jack. Jack goes off the green. He'll be satisfied with that.
He will indeed, because he's still in there. We still have the same scoreline, 19-17, and Duncan will again set the mark.
Once again, going nowhere near the corners. He's gone on a place where he thinks he can get a good lead. Finger peg, just underneath the second crown, about 30 yards.
Watching anxiously, Duncan, Thompson on his shoulder, following the line. That's not a bad lead there. It's got to be beaten. Thompson. Very, very calm. He appears, is he really? Look at this. Trying for him, but he's going down the hill, down the brew, and just out of the count. Now, Duncan. Holds 1, needs 2. Pads after it. Likes it. Likes it. Is it 2? Surely Thompson will want to know. Thompson surely will want to know. Duncan says 2. Thompson dries the hand. Is it the last hand he's going to play? Duncan needs 2. Thompson may hit the gap. He may hit the gap and go through. He's desperately unlucky. What a game. Tremendous stuff. Brian Duncan, the tournament favourite. So very, very concerned during this game, being under pressure all the way through. But at the end of the day, he's got this one, as he would say. Brian Duncan, 21, a very determined and unlucky loser in Allan Thompson, 17.
Yes, Brian Duncan through to the final, but only just. But that's the measure of the man. Another professional, very gritty performance against Allan Thompson. So the final of the 1992 Bassmasters, it's Brian Duncan from the top half of the draw against Tommy Johnstone from the bottom. That's next here at the Woodlands Hotel in Ellesmere Port. Join us again. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the final of the 1992 Bassmasters, which, as you all know by now, carries the richest first prize in the game of £7,500. That's cash and prestige combined. Well, can you welcome, first of all, the finalists from the top half of the draw, 2 times winner, the favourite every time we're here at the Woodlands Hotel in Ellesmere Port, Brian Duncan. And from the bottom half of the draw, Karen didn't make it. But Tommy did. Tommy Johnstone. Right, Right, well, Terry Ashford, of course, is refereeing, but I'm going to flick the coin. Tom, do you want to shout? It's gone so far away I can't see. Tails. Brian, your block. Commentators are Brian Brett and Hugh Johns. But first of all, Roy Armstrong, what's the game plan going to be in your opinion?
The game plan for Tommy Johnstone will be to start in this position here and actually to get the jack over here. Once he gets the jack here, Tommy will then play thumb peg right the way across the green. He'll miss that first crown there. The second crown that is there, he'll just hit the top of that and finish thumb peg in a little channel just about there. Once he gets in there, he will actually go from that position there. He'll go finger peg up the green there, missing the first crown, and on the second crown he'll just hit the inside of that, and then it's most important he goes in a little channel a foot wide there. When he gets in that, he'll finish up right up to the jack in that corner. That's the Tommy Johnstone game plan. Brian Duncan, on the other hand, if he counts in this corner here, which he will start from the same position, he will then go finger peg right up the green. He'll completely miss the second crown. The first crown that is there, he'll go underneath that crown and finish up in the little channel there, stopping the jack there. Important for him to be short of that corner. That is a very deep dip there. He doesn't want to go down there. That's Brian Duncan game plan.
Well, that's the game plan. Now for the game itself. The final of the Bassmasters. £10,000 at stake here. 7.5 grand for the winner. 3.5 for the runner-up. And Brian Duncan leads out a perfect first delivery. Tommy Johnstone's bowl on its way. Close, but not close enough. Brian Duncan, the master, the crown master. Not enough running.
Just got one, Tommy, that. Two, yes.
So Tommy, couple of chances, 3 chances I suppose. Dead draw, take the block, hit the blue bowl. In the event, merely saved 1 because he was 2 down. So Brian Duncan, who led out, scores the first shot of the game. Now Brian Duncan in a perfect position to play this long diagonal. And I think we might be able to sense, Brian Brett, how this game will go as to how Brian plays this end. That is not a particularly good lead. In fact, that is a dreadful lead.
Well, we've seen earlier in the day, haven't we, Hugh, that if he's not happy in the corners, he won't hesitate to come out. A lesson for us all. Johnson's played the corners better than anybody.
2 very, very loose lead bowls. Brian, you could hear the water squelching under his feet as he pounds up the green. 2 bad bowls. Chance for Tommy then. So Tommy, has he got the running in the bowl? The road's all right, but oh gosh. Is this a measuring job? No. Tommy's got 2. Well, Tommy has had a hard road to the final. His first game against Tony Reardon, that was easy. Noel Burrows, one of the past champions, took him to the cleaners. Hard one against David Copeland. And for a while, Stan Frith held Tommy, but in the semi-final, he couldn't quite get the edge of this man. So Tommy's in his second final. So, well, these are loose bowls from Brian Duncan, Brian.
I think possibly the pace of the green has changed, Hugh. We've had so much rain around in the last 18 hours, probably longer, 36 hours. But it does appear to have dried in areas, and the paces are quite different, and Johnstone is the man to exploit this.
Brian then with 2 bowls to beat. It's all about running now. The road is perfect. So's the bowl. Well, that's the great man in action. 2 across. Brian Duncan had a desperately tight match against John Eccles. Could easily have gone out there. Took care of his old mate, Norman Fletcher, easily enough. Tight one against Mark Britton, and he was a bit wayward against Allan Thompson in the semi-final. Thompson had his chances, but the experience of Brian Duncan, the craft of the man, the long years in the game, took him through 21-17, and here he is now. This his 4th final since the very first Bassmasters. Well, Tommy's got his supporters here. Formerly from Manchester, now from Warrington. Brian, born in Orwell near Wigan, now fighting out of Preston.
Johnstone, 1.
Fair bit of breeze whipping around the green here at the Woodlands Hotel. Just down the road from Ellesmere Port, you can see the branches of the trees around the green heavily moving in the wind. Down on the green it isn't quite so bad because it's nicely protected with grandstands around, stands and seats packed with goodly number of spectators here for this marvelous tournament, the richest prize in crown bowls. The one they all want to win, Brian.
The one they worked very hard to win because they spent 12 months qualifying. Duncan, in fact, qualified late last season, and so he could have taken it easy. This promotion, very nice, but in fact, he qualified easily 3 times for the tournament and allowed a couple of people in from the reserve list.
Yeah, it's fair to say, too, that Tommy got here, winning the Whitbread Masters. Liverpool beating Ken Armitage. So a promotion from Tommy Johnstone and a perfect second delivery gives Brian Duncan 2 and a 4-3 advantage.
And he's had a little think about this, Hugh, hasn't he? Because, as we suggested earlier, if he's not happy on the land in the corners, he won't hesitate. He's used this one earlier against Allan Thompson with great success.
Yes, that was at a time that Allan Thompson, in fact, was clawing his way very solidly back into the semi-final. And would you believe that's almost the identical goal that Brian delivered then to wipe the smile off Allan Thompson's face. Chances, chances, unlucky. That's not even in the road. Tommy can get round that, but
4 inches, Tommy.
very difficult to wick either the jack away or the block away.
Yeah, that's the safest hand, Hugh. It's the one he knows.
He wants a very sharp right-hand turn now, and he got the bowl, but unfortunately couldn't knock it far enough. What a superb try, though. So Duncan gets 1-5-3 his lead. Got awfully close with that one, Brian.
He did. He was happy playing that hand, and he just asked how much space was between jack and bowl, and he very nearly got it right. That bowl just stayed in. Still counts, Duncan. Big change again, Hugh.
Yes.
I suppose the danger is if Johnson wins this end, he's almost in a position to get to his preferred corners. All depends on this end.
This is a very good delivery. So the ball comes up from the far side, over the top, and it's on its way out, way out. Tommy will feel for two. Come on, a little bit more. No. Well, now Tommy, as you were saying, Brian, in a position to get into the scoreboard area, which was Roy Armson's forecast of Tommy's game plan.
But he's gone the other peg, Hugh. He's gone finger. He would normally go thumb when he gets to the right position.
Roll it.
That's a fair lead. Could win it.
Yes.
Terry Ashcroft doing the refereeing in the place of Frank Kitchen, and I'm told to tell you, Frank, in hospital at Whiston Green, a full copy of all the scorecards are coming your way after the final, so that you can read, learn and inwardly digest exactly what happened, bowl by bowl. What's he got?
Well, he wants to swap 1 for 1. It's Johnson who had the edge.
Well, that angle looks like a blue bowl in.
Blue. Long look. Debate. Third member of the committee arrives. Ooh. Not having it, Tommy. Not having it. Hey. Well, at this stage, not for £7,500. Let's have a measure.
Will Folk and Peter Kilgannon are...
In fact, it's Frank
Oh, it's
Lomax,
Frank
the
Lomax,
taller
so
man.
it is.
They've swapped over, haven't they?
Yes. I must say, I fancy the blue. And the fact that they're measuring blue first...
Duncan looks anxious, doesn't he? Johnson's withdrawn from it all in yellow. Will Folk on the left there. He's prowling around in the background, Duncan. He's really hyped up for this one.
Yes, it was the blue bowl. So.
Down here at the side of the green with Roy Armson, with Brian Duncan 6-4 in front. Your impressions of the early exchanges, Roy?
It's nip and tuck, isn't it? They're both feeling one another out, and of course Tommy Johnson's got such a tremendous admiration for Brian Duncan. Some years ago he was Tommy's hero, and Tommy's tried to emulate him in many things, not only in fact in play, but in the way he goes about things, the way that he never boasts. And Tommy's played short here, so Brian's going for two. Put a little bit of pressure on Tommy.
See, Brian says he's enjoyed the condition of this green over the past 2 days more than he's ever enjoyed it in the past 10 years that he's been playing here.
Yes, that's fascinating, isn't it? Because he's always done he's either gone out in the first round or got to the final, but I know that he likes this, and in fact I think yesterday he said he wouldn't mind if it was 10 yards heavier.
What about this one?
Chance for this. Unlucky, very unlucky. If he'd have half that ball, he would have pushed it out and left himself in. Tommy will be satisfied with that because he's played the correct ball. Be interesting now to see where Brian goes, because he hasn't had all his own way in the corners. I think what he should do from here, he should go finger peg up to the other corner, but no. I think he's going where he won against Allan Thompson. He's not happy with his game in the corners, so he thinks he can lead well on this kind of a length.
Thanks, Roy. Of course, it is all about finding a mark, and just recall Colin Trousdale back in 1988 finding one that won in the Bassmasters. You'll remember that, Hugh, very well. And we'd just like to pass our best wishes on to Colin, who's in hospital at the moment. Nothing too serious, I'm glad to say. He's recovering, and he's watching.
Indeed. I remember Colin Trousdale's trolley for many, many years. Having a go is Tom. Beauty.
Left to target, identical bowl called for. Pick up the jack.
Got it. Got it.
Done enough.
What a result. What a result.
Well, how can he get it, Hugh? He's got to be far enough. Brian turns round, quite a grin, because the water off the roof of our commentary box is pouring down in front of us, but it missed us. Carry on playing.
I think it got a touch on Elton and Wellesby and Roy Hobson down there. They were a little bit surprised by that.
Oh, we're swinging in the rain. Wasn't us honest.
Well, after all that excitement, we'll get back to the bowls and find out how Tommy plans to sort this out. If he can hit his own bowl, he'll get rid of the blue bowl.
Right, and he turned over. Bias will carry it out.
No. Well, that was a bowl and a half from Brian Duncan. With that single, he gets 8-4 on the board. Well, you're leaving us now, but this magnificent final will still be in action when you return. I wonder what the score will be then.
Welcome back. It's moved on a pace, but with Karen looking on, Tommy still hasn't been able to cut back that Duncan lead. 11-6 to the great man, but chances for Tommy here. His second bowl at this end. 11-6 the score. Let's rejoin Hugh Johns.
And Tommy is responding.
Very difficult to beat, Hugh. Brian's first pull is short and in the path, and the two counting bowls of Johnson also a little bit in the way.
Brian will do well to save here, I think. Can he win it? He can. That is the class of this remarkable bowler, Brian Duncan. 2 down. The best he could hope for was to save, you would have thought, and yet with a classical twist of the wrist, the bowl's away, takes the block, turns 2 down into 1 up. Marvellous. So 12-6 now. Brian Duncan. 9 chalks away from setting a record in this Bassmasters tournament. This is 4th final, and he's looking for his 3rd win. Tommy with a lot of work to do. Just not going his way, Brian.
It isn't. The only time he's got really to his mark comfortably and had 2 counting bowls, Brian's beaten him. Of the 2 at the moment, Brian just the more consistent, controlled, getting the knocks like that one, whereas Tommy's have just been pegging through. Trying.
Duncan, 2.
Well, this is a grim sight for the Johnstone family.
Well, beneath the waterfall, Roy, we're admiring this magnificent performance as it stands at the moment by Brian Duncan. It was that bowl, the end before, which made a huge difference.
Oh yes, instead of it being 8-11, it went to 12-6. A masterful bowl by Brian. He's changed the mark once again. He's come about 8 yards over to the right-hand side. That's a good lead. It's almost the length, 18 inches wide, playing finger peg. Here's Tommy coming off the crown. And Brian's foxing him a little bit because it's running off that crown. It's skidding on the turf, coming up to the jack. Just gone out.
Because of the breeze, the green has actually speeded up a little bit in the last hour or so, dried it out.
Yes, I think it's in particular just at this portion of the green, just there. It's coming off the crown in that particular area. I think other parts are still quite sodden, but just here, it's all downhill off that crown.
Quite a stiff breeze here at Ellesmere Port this afternoon, but thankfully the rain has stayed away. Torrential overnight. But these are the conditions that Brian Duncan has said he loves, and Tommy Johnson is enjoying them himself at the moment. A good end, a vital end for Tommy. He's really got to hang in there.
Oh yes, and I think he'll have a go at the other corners now. His favourite mark has not worked, so here he is now going in the other corners. He's playing finger peg, going about 42 yards here. Needs a good lead.
These 2 bowlers, Tommy having the greatest respect for Brian Duncan. When Tommy won the Waterloo in '85, he put out Brian Duncan in the last 16. When he won the Spring Waterloo in '89, he beat Brian in the quarter-final. And that same year, when he won the Greenall Champion of Champions, he beat Brian Duncan in the final 21-9. He would love to refine some of the magic that he produced on those 3 games to get himself back into this match. He's 7 chalks down. I think the dampness of the green fooled him and killed him there.
In that area, it certainly pulled the ball up. Duncan's taking no chances. He turns over.
Bowling that thumb peg. Nothing happened.
Duncan, 1.
So 15-7. Brian Duncan with an 8-shot advantage. Brian Duncan, the high quality of his bowling over the years, illustrated perhaps more clearly by anything else than the fact that he's won the Waterloo handicap 4 times.
And invariably, he's had to give his opponents a start because his very success means he has to be handicapped and give points away before he even starts.
A ball, Tommy.
You've got the yard pass, Ryan.
Now, Brian would dearly love to pick up the block and run it back. He's got it. Didn't run it quite far enough to make it 2, but
he reckons 1, doesn't he?
he definitely reckons 1. Tommy now can't see the bowls from his position on the mat, on the footer. You can see over the top there the blue bowl on the right of those two, very fractionally, a couple of millimeters in front of the yellow.
Brian and Roy just having a little chat there. What's Brian saying, Roy?
Well, he thought he could either be 2 down or 1 up, and Tommy's played the right ball, but he thought Tommy's ball was over the top. With the extra speed, it just carried it down to the jack. And he's signalled he's 1. They look closer, but Brian's 1 in, and he's a very good judge of things, of course. Interesting to see where he'll go from here now.
Duncan, well.
No time lost. There he goes.
So that single, 16-17.
Duncan persisting with the halving the green policy, up over 1 crown and just off the edge of the next. The jack possibly in a bit of a saucer, but he's pulled it in from the ditch this time. Yes, 16-7, the Duncan advantage.
Tommy with it all to do. There's very few bowlers could ever reckon to give Brian Duncan a 9 shots advantage when he's only 5 away from taking the first prize.
What, Tommy?
Tommy charging off to that, but no way.
Duncan, well.
Yet another one for the great man. 17-7 his lead. Brian Duncan, who has played in every single one of the Bassmasters since they first started back in '82, and so far he's won 13 of 21 matches. Been in 3 finals so far. Won 2 of the 3 finals he's been in so far, and here he is in his 4th final, on the way perhaps to another win. And it looks as though he might be in, Tommy.
He is.
He is.
Presents problems for Brian. Unless he can work off his own shoulder bowl. He's just put a bit of running in to try and play the bowl out or even pick up the jack. Maybe nice. Now just nudge his own closer. No.
No, he's knocked it further away. Tommy would try for 2 here, but he'll be well satisfied to take 1.
Well, he's been a bit cheeky here. He's turned over because he reckons he can get it for 2, but if he hits the jack...
Johnstone, well.
So Tommy trying out another piece of land. Looks as though he's prepared now to take Brian on in the corners.
Problem is that he's only counted 4 times in the last 14 ends, so he is not used to leading to his own jack, but that's not bad.
It's a good lead. That road looks good. It's all about running now. Too much. Like the charge of the 7th Cavalry coming down the hill. the crowd willing Tommy's bowl to go on running, but it's pulled up a mile short.
Just gives him a little bit of thinking to do. Only one against him. He might be able to afford to strike. Turns over.
Turns his bowl over. He's got a contact. No! Well, the width of a cigarette paper away from getting hold of the block then. That looks so close. Looked to be on the road, didn't it?
I thought so. He thought about it. He knows he's only going to be one down if he does miss, so he may as well try it, and he could possibly have picked two. But Tommy's going to have a look for two, you know, here. He wants them measuring. They're so far away. The angles are different. I'm not sure that Brian agrees. That was his duster that went down with the footer. But it just stops the rhythm, doesn't it? It just checks him.
You can see Brian say, "Come on, Tommy, you've got no chance here." No chance.
Doesn't like being disturbed, Brian, even though he's lost the end. He wants to get on with it. They're rounding them all up.
One it was, and I think practically everybody in the place knew it, including Tommy Johnson. But he had a few moments respite from the grueling that he's got.
Oh, Johnson knew he'd got it all wrong then. Lucky to stay on the green, misread it.
Brian's going to be short. Tommy. Not a bad length this time. The adjustment on weight was all right. The line was not too clever, though. Brian certainly won't be short with this. Right on the money. So Brian now has twice as many points as Tommy Johnson. 18-9. Again, he goes for this what a little curly mark. About 20-25 yards, maybe.
Can catch him out though, Hugh, because the approach is uphill. He caught himself out. Got to get up and over onto the bank and then run with it. Giving it more to do.
Oh, Tommy had to get down the hill then. Now then, Tommy Johnson, surely. There's a downcast look on Duncan's face. Tommy puffs out his cheeks. Smooths the damp grass off the bowl, making sure it's got a good clean running surface. Now then, come in for one, surely. Yes. And he says to himself, why can't I do that every time?
Might be just against.
They're at it again, you know. Do we agree on one?
Looks one to me. Yes, aye.
He wants some measuring.
Thanks, please.
Yes. Everybody but Tommy thinks it's one. He wants some measuring. Will Folk, Frank Lomax on the right.
Brian Duncan, just hands on hips, gets well away from things, shakes his head slightly and says, well, come on.
Is your journey really necessary? We'll soon find out.
Yes. Yeah, first ball measure. Johnstone, one.
One again. Now, Tommy, you're back on your favourite mark. You're going to be able to do it now. Not quite the same piece of land. Wondering, Roy Thompson, whether you feel that Tommy is on his own land, or has he chosen another piece now?
You was just saying, Roy, is this the mark that could bring Tommy Johnstone right back into it, basically? I think that's what you were saying.
Yes, it's Tommy's best mark on the green. He's actually gone the other peg to what he normally goes. He normally goes thumb peg here, and he's playing finger. But if he gets in here, he'll go right as far as he can up to the scoreboard corner. But he's played a bad second ball. It's only one, and Brian will play through at this, hope to get the jack on the ball.
Well, let's see. He's certainly got the legs on the bowl, but the accuracy isn't there. And Tommy now has a single and in a position to try and get over to the other corner as far as he can and see if his accuracy can outfox the great Brian Duncan.
Well, he's going at it thumb, which is not the way he did it before, and that's because he isn't quite on his mark here. He's gone for somewhere different.
Got it all wrong. Brian just enough to beat the yellow bowl. Tommy needing to do a lot of improvement, a lot of adjustment on his first delivery.
He doesn't like that. He's walked away from it. That's in a different game altogether, I'll tell you.
Got to be an easy two here for Brian Duncan. No, I'm not sure that it has. Disgusted with himself.
Duncan, one.
But a single. 1911. Brian Duncan. 36 years of crown bowling behind him. Still only 48. Plenty more tournaments. Plenty more games for him to play and win. And his past record is, well, it's champion stuff all the way. Ever since he won the Lancashire County Merit at the age of 18 in 1964, he's been a force to be reckoned with on every crown green that's ever been designed in this country. Tommy has him here. Oh, it's gone out. Just one. Well, it's a time for miracles now, Brian. If Tommy is going to
Yes.
get anywhere near the 19 that Brian's already got.
Do you know, Hugh, he's never settled on a piece of land that he's happy with. He's going back up towards the scoreboard, playing it finger peg, pretty straight mark. Anything beyond it may well run into the ditches. He needs inspiration.
Well, he needs a little more strength in the right arm, that's for certain. Brian's only just beaten it. Slaps his thigh in some small anger with himself. Hits his own bowl. I'm not sure that he's promoted it beyond the blue bowl. There's the winning of this match here. There's the winning of the tournament here. This bowl could be worth £7,500. It's in. There's the handshake. It's all over. Brian Duncan scores his third triumph in the Bassmasters, taking out Tommy Johnstone, 21-12. The master does it again in superb style. Though, to be fair, I don't think Tommy Johnstone bowled to the best of his abilities, certainly not as well as he has bowled in this tournament, but the master puts title number 3 on his shelf along with the Bassmasters trophy.
Now for the presentation, I'd like to welcome our representatives from Bass who've helped us run the event so smoothly this week, and a big thanks to everyone at the Woodlands Hotel here in Ellesmere Port as well. First of all, John, if you'd like to make the presentation to the runner-up, that's a cheque of £3,500 to Tommy Johnstone. Just quickly, Tommy, a lucrative week for you and the missus.
It's been a super week, like, just disappointed, like, play so bad in the final.
Not to worry, it's been a great performance throughout the week by you. Well done. Now this is becoming a little bit of a routine. Ladies and gentlemen, for the third time, will you welcome the Bassmaster, this time for 1992, to receive a cheque for £7,500 and the Rose Bowl, the one and only Brian Duncan. Brian, many congratulations. Well, just another terrific individual performance.
Well, I think I've played well most of the week. Like, I think in the final, probably like Tommy said, he hasn't played as well as he's been playing most of the week, but I think that's how it goes. He's just played a few short uns, and that's life.
You seem to have that effect on people.
So they keep saying. Well, I mean, you just keep plugging away, and hopefully just hope that they play, you know, a few short uns. If Tommy had played like he'd been playing all week, I would have think he probably would have won it, but it's just one of those things.
You said that said to me a little bit earlier that the green was as good as you've known it in the 10 years that you've been playing here in the Bassmasters.
Well, I think the green this year particularly is better than it's ever been. All right, today, because we've had a lot of rain, the green is probably a bit stiffer than normal, but I mean, you can't do anything about that. But the playing surface is superb. I mean, you can deliver them and they're not jumping about. It's great.
Well, you were certainly hitting the block today. Do you ever get fed up of winning these things?
No, I still enjoy coming.
You'll be back next year?
Well, I'll be back now because I think I'll automatically be back with the defending the trophy.
You've never ever failed to qualify. I think, ladies and gentlemen, that in itself is absolutely remarkable. The greatest crown green bowler we've ever known, Brian Duncan. Well done, Brian. Hoist the trophy from all of us. Goodbye. See you next year.